Good evening, everyone. 6:05 p.m. AGUA Special Utility District, regular meeting of Board of Directors, February 5th. Call to order, Dr. Adriana Flores Verreal.
Here.
Ana Maria Perez.
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Perez. Homer Tijerina.
Present.
Jose Luis Ochoa Jr., absent. And Roel de Hoyos, absent. Item number 1B, invocation is going to be given by Ms. Cindy Verreal.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today to conduct matters of business for AGUA, may you give us your guidance, wisdom, and knowledge to make the best decisions for the ratepayers and employees. Lord, let this meeting be productive. Let your peace surround us today. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One D, public comments.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we have one resident, Mr. Ernesto Arevalo, that's signing in for the public comment.
Excuse me, si dijo Ernesto Arevalo, nosotros somos Ernesto Amador.
Amador, oh, disculpe, Amador, okay. Amador.
Sí, se puede levantar y puede...
Acá en el micrófono.
O de ahí sí puede, ¿dónde está?
Sí, es que tengo distrofe y
Está
no
bien.
tengo mucho para levantarme. Pero creo que me pueden escuchar, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí, está bien.
Bueno, quiere que me pare, pues bueno.
Tiene 3 minutos.
No, así está bien.
Me sobró uno. Bueno, voy a ser muy breve porque ustedes van a seguir su junta y creo como que se me está subiendo la presión. El desfibrilador no quiero que me vaya a reventar. Es increíble.
Sí.
Nosotros vivimos aquí en Palmview desde hace 30 años. Teníamos un negocio aquí en los jardines Bolón. A causa de mi salud se vendió y mi casa quedó atrás del salón y nosotros vendimos el negocio. Ahora es una iglesia que se llama Freedom Center Church y ese medidor de agua nos provee el agua a la iglesia y a mí que estoy atrás. Ya está vendida la propiedad de esas personas, ya pagaron y tengo 10 meses o más de estar pidiendo que por favor me cambien mi medidor de donde... Aquí está el medidor al frente de la iglesia y corre un poco para acá unos pies hasta donde termina mi propiedad. Allí vamos a poner el otro medidor para que tengamos cuentas separadas, la iglesia y yo. Vuelvo a repetir, yo tengo 10 meses que se puso la aplicación, me hicieron un cobro de 1,750 que se liquidó hace 10 meses atrás. Yo nomás lo único que vengo a decir es que quiero que me cambien por favor ese medidor que está en nombre mío, que están ahí en la iglesia, me lo cambien a mi propiedad. Y yo sé que estamos en sequía, pero yo no pido agua, tengo 30 años con el agua. Entonces eso es lo que les vengo a pedir, que por favor nos consideren porque ellos quieren su medidor y pues yo queremos recibos separados. Todos los papeles que la ingeniera Dianis Aguirre tiene aquí desde hace muchos meses, no sé si ya los hayan revisado alguien o no los han revisado y pues que los tomen en cuenta porque queremos salir ya. Esta situación a mí me tiene muy mal.
Sí, no se preocupe, sí lo vamos a considerar y hablar.
Sí, Ms. Amador, vamos a...
Eso es todo.
Sí. Muchas gracias, Ms. Amador. Lo vamos a ver. Aquí tengo su teléfono también.
Ok, ¿me puedo retirar o quiere que me quede?
Se puede retirar si gusta.
Muy bien.
Es una junta pública, se puede quedar si gusta, pero
No, si va a ser inglés, no me siento bien. No
Está bien.
esperaba ver tanta gente y no me siento bien. Siento como que la presión me quiere subir
Sí.
y esta cosa va a empezar a brincar y se van a asustar. Quiero decirles que... Ay, ya se me olvidó. ¿Qué iba a decir? Sí, el viernes la señorita Tabita me dijo que hiciera una petición, una hoja que no recuerdo el nombre y espero que la tengan allí. Viene a nombre de Ernesto Amador y mío.
probablemente.
El nombre está muy raro.
Es una sí, probablemente es es una variante de la regla.
Variance,
Sí,
variance
es una,
report, variance.
Parece que sí.
sí, es una excepción a la regla.
Por eso digo, quisiera que hagan una excepción porque yo sé que estamos en sequía. Yo no vengo a pedir agua con una nueva construcción. La parte de atrás que se va a vender después, ahorita no necesitamos agua ni nada. Ahorita yo me espero y luego puedo vender más tarde. Pero me urge que ya nos digan cómo hacer esa línea ahí. Revisen los planos de la ingeniera Izaguirre, por favor, porque creo que ya 10 meses o más ya es mucha espera y nunca he tenido respuesta.
Sí.
Gracias.
Y
Gracias.
el pago ya está hecho. Si hay algo que pagar, que me lo comuniquen, ahí tienen el teléfono. Y pues, por favor, no guarden mis papeles, sáquenlos y denle salida, por favor.
Sí,
Gracias.
muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
¿Tiene alguien alguna pregunta de lo mío?
No,
Gracias.
no,
¿Lo entendieron bien?
no. Sí, que tenga buena tarde.
Buenas tardes.
A usted
Igualmente.
también.
Bendiciones.
Buenas tardes.
Gracias.
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 Gracias, bye bye.
Okay, item number 2, discussion and possible action authorizing the general manager to purchase 2 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 vehicles through Caldwell County Country Chevrolet via buy board co-op contract number 724-23.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we're seeking authorization to purchase 2 vehicles. These are going to be 2 2024 Silverado 1500 crew cab trucks. Each one, of course, it's at an estimated cost of $46,744 to include the buy board fee and the delivery fee per each. The total amount for both vehicles will be of $93,488. And again, this is via buy board co-op contract 724-23.
There's not a dealership that can,
These 2
we can
trucks,
buy them here?
we did check locally the same type of truck and the cost. They are at final pricing at $53,000. The same type of vehicle.
Like
We,
2023?
the board had approved 5 trucks.
Mhm.
At this time, we're seeking to purchase 2 out of the 5, and then as we go through the year, we'll ask for the other 3 that were approved.
Pero no había 23s was a cheaper price at this, instead of buying 24, no?
No, sir.
Nada?
No, they had the 2024.
Mhm.
They don't have the 2025 yet either, so that's all they have at the moment.
So we were gonna replace how many? Two trucks?
5, and
¿Y
right now
dónde
we're
están los trucks, las otras?
asking 2 out of
Oh,
the.
there's gonna be a trade-in or no?
No, the 2 that are being proposed,
Ouch.
those were in an accident.
Ah, okay.
Those are the ones that we're gonna replace,
Ah, okay.
for the sewer and the apron plant.
Did we get anything from the insurance and the other ones that were replaced? How much was that?
I believe, total was like 30,000.
Each one?
No,
For both.
Okay.
Were they total loss, the other 2?
total loss.
They were total
And we
loss?
were not at fault, correct?
No, everything was, the other party's fault. So we got, reimbursed based on the vehicle, the
Right.
year, it's based on the, blue book. So
Okay.
it was like 14,000 for one truck and 12,000 for the other, so, or 50,000, so it's like $30,000 total for both trucks.
So had we gone through a dealership, it would have had to have gone through a bid process, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So buy board just makes it easier for,
To purchase.
to purchase it.
At a discounted amount.
So move.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Tijerina and a second by Ms. Ana Maria Perez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action authorizing the general manager to solicit requests for qualifications for engineering services for the North Water Treatment Plant.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, as part of the conversations that we had with the Texas Water Development Board, their recommendation was for us to solicit for bids for various services, to include engineering services, and I know that we already brought to the board the bond counsel and financial advisors as well, to have on the RFQ, the DBE guidelines, and a 30-day publication process in order for us to get reimbursement through the loan /if grant that we're already seeking funds for. So basically, it's just authorization to request qualifications for the engineering services for the North Water Treatment Plant following Texas Water Development Board guidelines.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
We don't have any handouts for this, right?
No, it's just we will need to solicit. We will need to publicize on the newspaper, and then we'll bring it back to the RFQ committee to have that matrix evaluation, and then bring it back to the board for approval.
This is just a
Okay.
step that we need.
Yes.
So this is like, we haven't applied yet, or we have already?
We
This is
did
the one-
apply.
This is the one that we got funded for, they asked to,
We submitted the applications, the 2 application
okay,
for the planning, acquisition, and design,
okay.
which is a total of 6.5 million. 6.2 million.
On this one, instead of the committee doing the ranking, can the board members or directors do the ranking? I know we did it back in 2016, 2017, and we did it at open session.
That's something that we can, Jaren, I don't know if you can assist me with the request.
Yeah, we can certainly bring all of them to the board to consider. I mean, yeah, the board wants to overall rank. I think the committee will probably have a recommendation as per the purpose of the committee, but certainly it is the board that has the final decision on overall what the board determines to be the most qualified of all applicants.
But us as a board, all 7 can rank them, correct?
Yes, each board member will be able to review the qualifications of every entity that responds.
Okay, so I guess more than anything, what I'd like to see, because, and I don't know if this is just me thinking out loud, there's several things that we see on our agenda, like having a spreadsheet with the different projects that we have. And so that way, we know like what each project and where the status is at. I know that you have it there in the room.
In the room, yes.
And just to be able to see it on paper so that these are the open projects that we have going.
Okay.
So NAD Bank, we have the North Water Treatment Plant, which is still in the applying phase, and kind of have those notes so that we know each item that we're talking about, because
Okay.
yeah, it just makes it easier for us to see something at a glance. Like these are
Yeah,
the
we're
ongoing
just a little bit,
projects.
to
Yeah.
keep track, and we're just a little bit more visual. I'm
Yeah.
visual myself,
Yeah,
so.
I like to
So
see
much.
something on like notes that and so that I can make notes and say, okay, this is what we discussed on this, and not seem like I'm lost on some project that, like, this project is the one that I'm thinking about, that we were number 16 on the Water Development Board. Is that not the right project?
That's the project, yes.
Okay.
We're ranked 35.
Or I thought we
Yes.
were 16.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, it's the same project. The
Okay.
North Water Treatment
Yeah.
Plant.
Just to be clear, you want that updated for each meeting, so that you can have a printout for each?
I just wanted like an ongoing spreadsheet that I'm able to visualize and say, this is what's happened so far on the north, like I met with so-and-so on this, and I'm a Google Docs person, so that any notes that you make, like Robert met with the engineer, I'm able to pull up that document and I'm able to see it right away in real time. And so before I come to the meeting, I already have notes about what has happened over here.
Okay.
How exactly are you gonna do that?
We can do a spreadsheet for other projects and the status of it.
Yeah,
Well, he
and
can
it's-
share it in the drive, right?
Yeah,
In the
we
Google
can-
Drive.
Yeah, we can.
They wanna share it on a drive, so they have access prior to this meeting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
On your,
Right.
your information, yeah.
Yeah, so I know that you've presented something like on Excel. You can still upload it to Google Drive and we're still able to see it. We're not gonna make the changes, but at least we're able to see like visually things that have taken place, who you've had meetings with, things like that.
Okay.
Just so we're aware of all the different ongoing projects that the district's involved in.
Will do. That's something that we can work prior and then
Yeah.
we can modify as we go
Mhm.
through the meeting.
It's like a
to see
working,
what's
living
good.
document.
Yes. Okay.
Just like what you have on the wall, just kind of electronically so that we can look at it and say, oh, okay, the application has already been submitted. We've already gone out for RFQs for this. It's gonna be on the next agenda, so we can talk about it, or we're gonna have the committee meeting, and that way everybody else kind of is aware of things that are happening with each project.
Sharon, do you see any problem with that if it's read-only?
No, I don't think so. We'll have to, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that, we can address the board's concern to where there is a shared document or a file that keeps, an update on, where these various projects are in their progress.
You can put that on your general report, manager report here. Everything that's going on. I mean, it's gonna.
Yeah, we'll
There's
discuss
a
it
lot of
there,
things
but-
going on, so that you can talk
Yeah.
on each one, where you had, where you've been, who you called. I mean, all of that. That's what Ms. Betty wants to know.
Just, and it can be read only, like, all of us don't have to be on that same document, like, it can be placed in one folder and we all just kind of go in and look at it.
Would that be to like our personal Gmails? Or how would we go about that?
I know that
Or do we
Microsoft, we have
create one?
we have a Microsoft account with the district, so,
For the sake of ensuring that, the district complies with open meetings and everything, we want it to just be read-only
Right.
for anyone other than, staff that are inputting, the updates of what staff is doing. The overall point being
Right.
is that the board is kept apprised of, developments on these various projects so that, the board is, up to date. Obviously, anything like that would be public information. And so we just keep in mind, compliance with Open Meetings Act, compliance with Public Information Act. But I think we certainly can, make sure that information is available so that the board members know and are aware of, how these, different projects are progressing.
Yeah, so you can only see it, you can't.
Right, and that's- yeah. yeah, and I don't have any problem with that. It's just being able to see how all the projects that we have going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will do.
So move on number 3.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Perez,
Second.
and I have a second by Dr. Villarreal. All in favor say aye.
All right.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, discussion and possible action authorizing the general manager to solicit requests for qualifications, RFQs, for engineering services and requests for proposals for planning, design, and construction of groundwater desalination facility to meet the growing water demands of the district.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I actually on this item recommend that we move into executive session to discuss, some legal ramifications under the 551.071 consultation with the attorney, to talk about this item further.
Okay.
So move.
So I have a
Second.
motion by Mr. Tijerina and a second by Ms. Perez. All in favor say aye.
All right.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on the approval of a contract with the most highly qualified provider of engineering services for the district's engineer.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, there was a handout, item number 5. that was passed to the board directors as part of your agenda. So in this handout, we have the proposed contract, the agreement of professional services. I know that we have been negotiating with SAMS from probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago. So we've been going back and forth. Specifically, the board had asked for a 30-day clause written without notice to the engineer for termination. That's found on page 4 out of 38, which is section 5 of that page. So that's one of them, one of the requests that the board had. So it's basically it's a template that the district has been using and the engineers have been using through the years. On page 6 of 38, we can see that we have under Article 5, Section 5.1 services, we have the amount that has been negotiated to $3,500 per month. This was brought down from the first submittal was $7,000. Then it was brought to the board with $4,000, negotiated at $4,000. So we brought it back to the engineer, and we had a meeting with the RFQ committee as well to go over this contract, and this was suggested at that time. So the engineer came back and submitted the updated contract with $3,500 per month. Let me see, I know that there were other bullets that the board had inquired.
And this contract.
Okay, so page, I'm sorry.
This contract is for how long?
This is for 2 years. 2 years.
The initial term will be for 2 years. The $3,500 negotiated rate is for the first term to be negotiated by the parties at the conclusion of the first term. Essentially, if the board is satisfied with the performance of the engineer, then the engineer would seek to see the increase to that $4,000 to be negotiated at the conclusion of that first term. But as written, the first year will be at that $3,500 a month rate.
And then it doesn't have an automatic clause, correct? It has to be brought back to the board.
It may be renewed, but it's not. Right, that's right. It is not, but it may be renewed. Just like it's just like essentially in substance, all of the district's engineering contracts for the district engineer going back to, I think, has to be before 2008.
So it extends by itself? Jaron,
Yes, sir.
so it just extends by
Sorry.
itself, or? I didn't get what you just said.
Okay. So the initial term is for 2 years. So let's go to, if you want to see, just 1 second.
Yeah, the actual termination date will be, well, of course, March 7th, 2026, unless it's extended by the board with a supplemental.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that if after that first year,
Okay.
it'll come
That's
back
the
to
answer I
us.
was looking for, Jaron.
It'll come back to us.
The first year is to reevaluate, the contract is for 2 years. The first year is to reevaluate the engineer and the monthly cost. Right? But on the second year, it'll terminate unless is brought back to the board for a supplemental to continue with the services.
So to answer your question, the board has to take affirmative action to extend it past those 2 years.
After the 2
After
years.
the
But
2
then
years.
Not
after
the first year.
Right.
They can come back and say,
It's
well,
a-
we wanna get paid more.
As the reevaluation, the
Right.
board will need to
We should
take
have an
action on that.
agenda item before then and to
Yes.
discuss it.
Correct.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, it's under section 3.1, page 2.
Page 2 out of 38. section, yeah, 3.1.
Are we moving on, or any concerns, other questions?
No, the other concern, I know that the board had brought it up, and it's on page, that was addressed, page 25 out of 38, which is under Article 29I, which is, of course, the engineer shall not perform any private development work within the service area of AWASA. That was another.
But is it just development or engineering?
As we have it here, it's
Yes.
private, go ahead, Jeremy.
It should,
It is private development work within the service area.
it should also include engineering to eliminate any conflict of interest.
Well, if we, I would recommend if we want to talk about that, type of provision, we would take it into executive session.
Yeah, you wanna, I think we should, I mean, if we don't wanna hold him to that, Homer, it's gonna be like, it's their business. I mean, they can do work for somebody else,
Yeah,
not for
but,
themselves, but if you wanna cut them down, I don't think that's right.
I don't think so either.
yeah, but we've had instances where we've had other people do conflict of work.
Yes, but, I mean, we can't,
As the general manager, but not as the engineer.
not as engineer.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, they fulfill two different roles.
Mhm.
Because I don't think any of our previous engineers were held to that standard.
No.
Yeah, I'm not, so Sam's, as the board may know, Sam's was previously the district, engineer for, many years, including, during the early years of the formation of the district from Water Supply Corporation. I'm not aware of any instance during that time where Sam's represented a party that was adverse to Aqua Seven. Certainly, that is, just under the conflict of interest provisions, they would not be able to provide services, on both sides of a contractual relationship with the district.
So is anybody gonna,
So the options now were to someone move for the item or move it into an executive session. One of those two.
I mean, I think we,
Want to
I
have any
mean,
discussion?
well, I mean,
there's also supplemental pay here for additional work.
But I think that's been with every engineer, correct?
Correct.
Homer, this is not any different than other engineers. I
Yeah,
think
well,
we've
that's
done
why
that
you wanna
before.
change it to do
Yeah,
what's
so
right.
this agreement is the agreement, it is essentially in form and substance the same engineering agreement that the district has had with its district engineer since the formation of the district. This agreement is Sam's, historic agreement, other than, some of the payment terms and the length of contract, but it is in substance the same agreement. After Sam's is no longer the district engineer, subsequent engineers, I believe, generally utilize that same agreement, that the district had with Sam's. And so the provisions and terms are going to be, should be extremely similar and familiar to the board.
I so move.
I second.
all in favor?
All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Still have, yeah, motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on the approval or the closeout documents with CSJ Group for Aguasut's Western Road Booster Station and water line improvements, Mendiola Booster Station.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, and again, of course, as a request from the Board of Directors, M2 Engineering has been following up with with CSJ on getting all the documents needed to close out the project, which is the Palmira Mendiola booster station and Salida del Sol booster station. The request was to get a letter that the project was built to industry standards, and specific that conduit, the electrical conduit, and of course the missing as-built drawings. And of course, we have letters from substantial completion letters, 1-year warranty letters, certificate of completion by CSJ, superior tank certifications. Everything is within the attachments. Contractors' affidavits, bills paid and release of liens, record drawings of upside water lines, contractor justifications of proposed credit for aluminum conduit, and final payment application, and of course, the letter from M2 Engineering as well for this project, the completion of this project. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Milo?
No, you pretty much went through everything that's.
And everything was submitted in the packet, Milo?
Yes.
There
we
was,
have-
there was a question about the net bank, no, Milo? That one, no? Not that.
And going back to the
do
previous
nothing.
item.
So, Ms. Perez, brought, previous, net bank was not involved in that one? No.
Net bank on
Probably
this
Homer knows
project?
more.
No, not this one, not this one. I'm going back to the,
I'm sorry.
going back to the previous one. I know we, at the RFQ committee, we had talked about the NAD Bank.
I think that's something else. Did,
That will be on the, okay,
I-
that will be on the engineer's report.
did Melon and Hunt sign
Yes,
off on
but-
it, Milo? They
Yes.
signed off todo?
Yeah,
Do
they
you remember
provided a
when we
letter,
met with Sharon on the RFQ,
that the
how it was
project
gonna
met,
work out between the
industry
engineers?
standards.
Como quiera, we don't have guarantee right now, but that is expired.
There's still, yeah, well, there's still warranty
Yes,
for
no,
like
we can-
maybe
we can
a
discuss
little over a month.
When,
on,
that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the outside stuff, like the driveway, the fence,
Mhm.
the building. But the pumps, they've been in service for 2 years now.
Who does the maintenance on that? Will we do? Ourselves?
On which
The
one?
maintenance and all that facility?
Yes,
Yes, water.
Uh-huh.
water distribution.
Do they know how to operate? I know that they had to change the motor around. Do you guys know what to do in case something happens?
Oh, yeah, they do. The operators.
Yeah, but only them, or it's written somewhere, porque si entra, somebody else comes and they connect the wires differently, or I don't know. ¿Verdad?
No, what happened was that when the manufacturer sent the fittings for the pumps,
Mhm.
they had to flip the pumps, but the pumps continue working the way they're supposed to.
Okay. In case a pump goes down, we just flip them again?
You can just replace it, but you have 2 pumps. But if one were to go down, then it would be either repair it or replace it.
Okay. How much of the funds do we have, to give to them? What's the check? We're gonna give them a check?
For this one, as part of the final invoice, with the $6,000 credit, we're looking at $63,878.
It's on the last page, or
That's,
in the 63,000,
before, yeah,
the second
Second
to
to
the
the
last page.
page.
The second to
We
the-
have the as-built drawings, Milo, the only thing that, the checklist was also included, correct, Milo?
Yes.
The last one, second to the,
The checklist for the,
no. Flip it. No.
So we're gonna be out of the Mendiola booster.
It finally will not be on the discussion here.
Yeah.
as per all the submittals, they have submitted, all the documentation, including the checklist. I don't see the checklist here, but the checklist was,
I have it, if I didn't include it on there, I can forward it.
okay. Just wanted to see the checklist, that everything was checked out on this, but I didn't see it. But that's one of the things that was pending, and then of course the letter from Meldon and Hunt on the conduit, that it meets, industry standards. And I believe that's about it. Milo or Albert, anything else that is pending for this project to close out documents, O&M manuals, everything has been?
Yeah, the O&M manuals, I sent them to you also through a link, because it was a lot of pages, it would have been 500 pages, so.
So the only question, that we have, I know that we received, the affidavit of all bills paid, from the contractor engineer, if there's a possibility of one of the, I know that you had this question, Mr. Perez,
One of the
one of the
subs that we're
subs
doing, yeah.
may come and to us after this and say, hey, you know what, but I didn't get paid so much amount, how's that gonna,
Right.
even though we have it certified that
Sure.
everything was paid? I know that's one of the questions that you had on
Exactly,
that,
yes.
so.
Because,
So
you
how
know,
would they
people
handle
out
that?
there talk and they say, I didn't get paid for this, you know, and so that, how can we protect ourselves in case that happens? They're out in the cold too.
That I know, we don't have any liens that they have submitted,
Yeah, well, there are no liens on the project. Not that I know of.
it can be a subject to,
To run,
make sure there's no
yeah,
liens.
to run
Yeah,
a
we need to
lien
run a
report.
check.
So we can have that contingent to.
You all had a
Right.
specific person who had said, who was the contractor that had said something?
No.
I mean, we
Like
have
I
a-
say, if there's
Some-
no
there was
liens,
somebody's
I mean,
name
it's
that-
more than,
They're
been
gonna go
90
after
days, they
their-
got 90
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
to do it,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So,
on the product. They didn't
if there's
mention the
nothing
product,
there,
no
so
problem.
it's
Yeah, the project's been in service for over
for
2
2 years.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so I think the deadline for them to file liens
It's the
has been
90.
filed, it's been passed.
okay.
Yeah, but we need to check if there's any liens out there. Just a check and then you give them a check back.
Yes. So we
Yeah.
can do a subject to
Subject to
So a
lien
final
check,
on
yeah.
liens.
final check, to release
Based
final,
on the
to release
project,
the final
yeah.
payment and approval.
Based on the project, it took so long that there was so many changes, you know, so many things were going on, so many people were touching, equipment there, cables or whatever that was not, you know, they started with one, ended up with another guy, so, just, and then you can, I think, once you get attorney approval to do the check, I think that should be it. Go on to the next matter.
Okay,
Are you taking a vote on that? So you,
Subject to,
subject.
is there a motion on that?
Subject, yeah, subject to the lien review, review of.
you review it
any
and
lien-
checklist, and to have the checklist,
Yes.
and
Checklist and, yeah. I so move that we approve, on the contingency that, we check to see if the lien is, or that there's no liens on the project, and that checklist.
it's completed.
And then once you check it off, it's not gonna come back to us on the
Right.
board anymore.
No.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And the
Second.
district, to my knowledge, the district has received no notice of any filings or intent to file, mechanic, you know, material lien, which, if a lien were to be filed, it would have to have been sent to us.
Okay, so I have a motion by Ms. Ana Maria Perez.
And second.
Have a second by Mr. Perez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, General Manager's Report. A, December financials.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I have here with us, Mr. Jaime Reina, Finance Director, which will, summarize the December financials for us.
Yes, Board, these financial statements are prepared as of the end of December, which would represent 100% of the year. If you, I would like to mention that these are unaudited, so the numbers could slightly change in our final audit report. But if you could please turn your attention to the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position, you'll see that our total operating revenues were at 103%, so 3% ahead of budget, and total operating revenues were at 105%, which were also ahead of budget. Overall, leftover operating revenues after expenses were at 4.4 million, which were then used to make payment on our annual debt service. And finally, our debt service coverage ratio for the year was at a 1.18, meaning that we had 18% of revenues left over after making payment on our debt.
I think the only thing I'm gonna ask for is, the professional fees, if I get a breakdown.
Sure. I do have a breakdown on hand. We can go ahead and forward it to you.
Professional, please.
I do have that on file.
We'll submit that.
Thank you.
Um, we'll move forward. B, Tom Gill and Line Booster.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we had a pre-construction with the engineer and contractor, J&J Contractors. On this, the contractor has requested materials to purchase. Of course, we are pending the submittals from them, and also we're working to execute an easement with Meldon and Hunt, so that we can have the easement on that property as well with the City of Peñitas on that. And as far as that goes, we have a contract signed. We had the pre-construction. The contractor requested for materials, so we're just pending the materials so he can get on that project working.
Okay. C, Drought Contingency Plan.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. For this item, we have a deadline that we need to meet, of course, with TCEQ, which is May 1st. We have 3 documents that we need to submit, which is the water conservation, utility profile, and the drought contingency plan. We will like to publish on the newspaper for a public hearing, and that's for the April 1st meeting. So we'll have ample time so that we can look at the changes that the district is proposing with the board members before we have that public hearing and adoption on the April 1st meeting. So the target date to have that public hearing and adoption will be April 1st. And of course, we have a deadline, so we'll be a month ahead of that before we have to submit to TCEQ.
Okay.
So that's our goal on the drought contingency plan.
Okay. Any comments, concerns? Okay. D, District Operations Update.
Yes, as far as the district operations update goes, I know that we had brought several items to the board for surplus. We're looking into putting an auction together. I know that Albert assisted me with getting some of the quotes, and one of them, you have it on your packet as a handout, is with Galindo Auctions. They have basically they have 2 options. One is, of course, to have it here on the district premises, and the other option number 2, is to have the items at their premises, and of course we will need to take the items to their premises. However, after discussing with staff, we would like to, of course, propose option 2, which is the 3rd page, and this will be like a sale live and online at Galindo auction property on any given Saturday. Of course, the auction company organizes the inventory, catalogs them in their webpage, and of course for online bidding and viewing. There's a 99.9% commission rate with no base fee, and of course a $500 advertisement fee will be deducted from the sales proceeds. We looked at the Texas State Auction as well, and they're no longer in service, Albert.
Correct.
We looked at govdeal.com, and basically the way that GovDeals work is like eBay, right? They charge 12.5% of the fee to the buyer, but we will need to post everything on the website. So technically, it's like eBay, selling an item, but it'll be deducted from the actual, or added 12.5% added to the buyers. So we feel that Galindo auction has experience On this, they have attached a summary of some of the work that they have done as far as action items here through the valley. And I'm not sure if I'm missing anything, Albert, on this.
No, you basically covered everything. They have contracts as well with several entities, annual contracts, but what they offered, which is option 2, is very good to us because it benefits us because they'll take care of everything. They'll even provide their trailers for us to load them up and take it to them, and they'll take care of unloading and cataloging everything for us. And all we're gonna do is get a check at, by the following Friday of that for the sale. And they'll give us an itemized list of everything that was sold and whatever's pending.
And whatever's pending stays, or does it get brought back?
No, it stays with them and they continue with the sales because they do have sales every month, every week. So they'll stay, so they do a collection of all entities and they'll just sell them.
How long will that, in other words, how long will they keep it, trying, to try to make a sale?
That's the question I asked him, and he said that the way he sees our list, everything that we have, like computers, all that stuff, will go quick because they have buyers from Africa, other countries,
Oh,
online.
okay.
So those will quickly go quick. The miscellaneous.
So he doesn't foresee anything staying behind?
He doesn't foresee anything that might stay behind, little items, but he'll still sell them on the next.
Did he see our merchandise?
Yes, he can buy. I visited with him.
An estimate? Did he give you an estimate?
Well, he said that he didn't give me an estimate, but basically he said don't do a reserve from the units of the backhoe or the vehicle. Just open it. So if you put a reserve, then you have to if they come, let's say $20,000 for the backhoe. Let's say you put a reserve at 20. If someone doesn't go to 20, you're at 18,000. Then you have an option to decide keep it, don't sell it, and if you do open, it's gonna go until until they max out.
Yeah, but they can save $5,000, right? They can-
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's also the thing that he said.
So
it's
that's the
something-
cost.
Yeah.
So what are we selling the high price? Backhoe and what
It's
else?
the backhoe,
The
the
trailer?
gooseneck. We got unit number 5, but the engine is shot down. It needs a new engine. So the most expensive item would be the backhoe.
Last time you guys did it here, who did it for you?
It was
Texas.
Texas auction.
How much did they charge?
7.5%.
That's it, just out of the sale.
Yes.
7.5, or there was a minimum, or whichever is
It's like 2,000.
higher.
Yes.
I think there was a base 2,000, 2,500, 2,500, I don't recall.
Because the option 1 is 4,000 and the option 2 is they're gonna do it over there, right?
Yes,
Yes.
But they have a lot of more leeway over there for them.
correct.
So the online will go on till when? Like, did they set time parameters?
It's live, so they have a time frame. It depends on how many items they have. Because it's not just based on our items,
Oh,
it's based on the whole lot. So they start early, so it's as they go, they just start selling.
so it always like in inventory for their site?
Correct.
The backhoe, what does it have?
I'm sorry?
Does the backhoe, does it turn on?
Oh, yeah, it operates.
You
Yeah.
know, what's the problem?
Well, based on the mechanic, he didn't recommend for us to keep it because eventually it was gonna break down.
But for the motor, transmission,
The
or what?
engine.
The
Oh,
engine?
the engine was gonna be shot. And you're looking at a repair about $35,000. That's the engine.
How many other backhoes do we have?
We have 2 other backhoes,
And one is in order.
and one is in order that's
Water one, we're still pending that backhoe that was approved by the board of directors, January.
January.
So you don't wanna put a base on the backhoe?
No, that's what he said. I'm not going with that. At the end, we put a base.
It was
and
his
we start-
suggestion.
15, I mean, we
Now
can
you have
start
to
15,000.
yeah.
We just go base and I just have to investigate that number so we can have a good number to start off with.
See, I think we should have a base on the trailer, I mean.
Yeah, I
Two
think so
also.
too.
Yes, so when that happens, either if I'm present or not, they'll call me and see, but I'll be present for that whenever that happens.
Right.
To make sure that
Yes.
it sells.
See, because we wanna get some.
This is not an item yet, but you all will bring it back to us
It-
if
it-
we decided, or you all are just gonna choose?
It's not an item, Jaron, on this type of, items, do we need to take more action?
No, does not need more action. We have more action on.
Just so that I can talk to City of Palmview.
They have,
They have them there.
I'm putting them up for sale.
We
Yeah.
work with them, City of-
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna just kind of ask around and see, but I can communicate with you guys.
So they just want 10% and then $600 for the,
$500 for the advertising.
500.
for the option one,
But they do all the
Option two.
advertising and everything.
option two.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do all the advertising, social media.
When is this happening?
There's no set date yet, it's until, after this, meeting, then I can coordinate with them, and once we get everything together, take it to their site, they can, maybe, we're looking at March, more or less, target date.
And you cannot take it with, just put it up on the trailer, back home and take it over there?
Yes, the backhoe, yes, we're gonna take the
Y la
backhoe.
trailer también, ¿verdad? Pues it runs.
Yes, we'll just take those two items,
The
and
flatbed,
they'll provide
post
two, two trailers for us to put everything else over there.
With the same fee, option two.
The option two, yes. There's no extra charge for those, that kind of, help.
Echarle todo lo que pueda. Todo el yonque, porque there's no sense in us paying
Oh, yeah.
insurance and think we don't use.
Whatever we have, it's in vote on the trailer.
so if it's gonna be, probably within a month or more than a month, I can bring back on, status on the dates that we're gonna have them,
Where's they at?
Yeah.
In Mission? Where in Mission?
They're on Glasscock in 107, off of 107 in Glasscock,
On the north,
on the north side.
there's like a record kind of
Right.
deal.
That's where they have their options.
Oh, okay.
And they do it, simultaneously, the live and of course, online,
See,
so they do both at the same time.
okay. Make sure the tractor turns on si quiere.
So, no, we're gonna get everything ready.
No voy fallando. Sí.
no, quedar la mitad.
Okay. Okay, any questions and concerns? No? Number 7, okay, so moving forward to item number 8, District Engineers Report. A, NatBank Technical Assistance Agreement Sewer Hookups.
Yes, Madam President, we have, M2 Engineering for, the report.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. For the NatBank Technical Assistance Agreement project for Phase 1, we've already submitted the project closeout documents. There is a couple of things missing that were reviewed from NatBank. We took care of those on Friday and it was mailed out to them today. So Phase 1 is basically under review to get fully closed out, project closeout. Phase 2, that's the project that's the new project for the additional areas for the sanitary sewer collection system extension and additional services. This project already, the contractor provided the contract to us last week, and I just provided the contracts to Albert. A PDF was also emailed to NatBank and AGUA earlier today for their review, and once they review it and approve it, then we can get started. And we also did meet with Mr. Carlos from NatBank last week on Tuesday, and we're thinking about scheduling a pre-construction meeting for sometime around next week, like February 13th is what we're shooting for. So we think the contractor will probably start construction before the end of the month.
Milo, one of the concerns of the board was, did we get the letter signed, officially signed? The letter of no change orders?
Yes, and I brought it on Tuesday when we met last week.
And the other one, did you met with Morville on the subcontractors, right? If they're gonna have any subcontractors?
Yes.
That was another concern from.
Yes, at this time, they mentioned that they will not have any subcontractors, and if they do, that they will provide them. But at this time, they plan to do it themselves.
Okay. Those are the two items that the board had concerns on, that I recall.
Okay,
So phase 2, it's starting. My question was, how are we doing with engineers? You're gonna be taking care of phase 2? Or how's it gonna work?
On that, Jaren, we have not, if I
Okay,
recall,
that's
I don't
right.
wanna speak for Sam, but we have not received, any confirmation on the actual takeover for the projects that are pending from the district engineer.
We will have on the March, monthly meeting, all the documents
have, or the engineer, or the future district engineer.
That's right, we just have to follow through
It's one or the other.
the procurement requirements under the statute, and once we've followed that process, then we'll have a agreement
We
for
have
the
to have
board to
contract
approve.
with either or, regardless. So
So-
either or, we will-
Explain that to me,
we will need to have, a contract, either to have a contract with M2 Engineering to continue the project
Okay.
because of the termination of the contract,
Okay.
or have a new contract with SAMS on that project. It's either a continuation from M2 Engineering with a new contract with the remainder of the balance, or SAMS taking over with the remainder of the balance of the project that we have with that bank.
and this is for phase 2,
Phase 2,
And that falls under supplemental.
administration.
no,
But
No,
that falls-
no, that was a separate approval from the
yeah,
board.
no, that's not.
It's not under the
Yeah,
district
no.
engineers. Is that correct, Jaren?
That's correct.
It's a separate.
Yeah, because this is the thing, is it happens in me and Ms. Diaz's district, and we need to make sure that there's not any issues with who takes over the project. We want everything to be smooth, and so I don't know if that award has already been given.
Yeah,
Or
that
who is
meeting's
gonna take care of that
meeting's
project?
gonna be between Sam and Milo, with Robert, either Sam takes the job with the amount of money
Okay.
that's left, or
Okay. I
Milo
got you.
continues doing with the money he finish up.
I got you.
It's gonna be, you're gonna be able to tell us, hey,
We'll bring, we're gonna have to bring either a contract for M2 on the next board meeting, or a contract with SAMS
okay,
on the next board meeting.
Okay, for
that
this.
project.
Next. Okay, thank you.
Okay. B, Mendiola Water Storage Tank Project.
On that one, pretty much, everything was discussed on item number 6, basically, project closeout. That's all we have to report on that. On, the next one, Liberty Road Widening Waterline Relocation Project. The construction's approximately 45% complete, and the project closeout is anticipated to be in the next 45 calendar days.
What was the percentage?
45.
45?
is sub, wanting more money, Milo, on that one because of the hard rock that he's.
They've mentioned that, but we haven't discussed it. They've just mentioned it verbally, but they
So they're
haven't
willing
submitted
to
anything
continue with
in writing. Yes. That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanna clarify, Jaren, again, on the NatBank takeover for the construction management. If the negotiation doesn't happen with SAMS, we have to go to the next one, which is DEC. Correct? And then we go
Yes.
to M2 engineering. So I just wanted to clarify
Yes.
that there's,
Yes, that's correct.
so we'll have to do that
Yeah,
within this month. That was the direction that we had.
That's right, there's a series of steps under the Professional Services Act that requires for engineering services, of how you negotiate the contract, based on selection of the most qualified provider of those services, and, we just didn't have enough time, before this meeting to get all of those negotiations finalized, to have a, contract ready for the board to approve. But we feel confident that all those negotiations will occur, and that contract will be ready for the board to consider, at the March meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Okay, item number 9, executive session. As provided by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Sections 551.071-551-091, the Board of Directors may convene in a closed executive session to deliberate, discuss, or consult regarding the matters listed below on proper motion and approval of any of the items set forth above under the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney. We have A, drought contingency plan, and B, potential changes to the CCN.
And also be remembered, Madam President, that item 4 was voted to go
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and add item 4. Discussion and possible action to authorize the general manager to solicit the request for qualifications for engineering services and request for proposal for planning, design, and construction of groundwater desalination facility to meet the groundwater demands of the district. So at 7:05, I need a motion and a second.
So move. Second.
So I have a motion by Dr. Villarreal and a second by Ms. Perez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.